Okay, let's just do a quick from the top, doing a complete breakdown of the Pulverize leveling build and then the Pulverize landslide procking like endgame setup. So we'll talk about some of the synergies and where I think this build excels and where I think it could be improved a little bit, but we'll cover everything and sort of like the pros and cons of this setup. So for the generating skill, Storm Strike, Enhanced Storm Strike, and then Fierce Storm Strike. So vulnerable for 3 seconds. That's a good combination. And then we're pairing that with Pulverize. So that's the first kind of synergy that I want to mention about this build is we're shifting back and forth between Werebear and Druid. That's really important for the Spirit generation, which I'll touch on later. But put 5 points into Pulverize, and then 1 into Enhanced Pulverize, and then Raging Pulverize to stun monsters. So that's really important. We'll touch on that in a bit. But then to sort of address the Spirit generation issues, put 1 point in Heart of the Wild, and then put 3 points into Abundance. So this is going to increase Spirit regeneration, and then pairing that with Storm Strike. So Storm Strike and Maul generate the most Spirit from like the generating skills for the Druid, but then we're pairing that with 3 points into Clarity. So when you get down to the summons, put 3 points into Clarity. So you kind of see this synergy of we're increasing our Spirit generation, and then we're also gaining Spirit when we shift from Werebear to Druid, and then we're going to be doing a lot of that back and forth as we generate, so that's going to address a lot of the like Spirit generating issues. And then as we're leveling, put 1 point into Blood Howl, so this is like a free potion, Enhanced Blood Howl, and then Innate Blood Howl, because that's going to help generate Spirit as well. And then Earthrim Bulwark to generate Unstoppable Active with Enhanced Earthrim Bulwark, and then Preserving Earthrim Bulwark to increase our Fortify. And then just put 1 hard point into Ancestral Fortitude, and then 2 into Vigilance. So the idea here with the Druid is we're constantly having a lot of Fortify, and then we're shifting back and forth between Werebear and then standard human form, and then we're just striking with Storm Strike and generating Spirit so we can go back and forth. And then we pair that with Poison Creeper, Enhanced Poison Creeper, and then Brutal Poison Creeper. So this is increasing a critical strike chance by 20%. Now we pair that with Envenom. So enemies deal additional critical strike damage when they're poisoned. So Poison Creeper is going to immobilize and poison. So there's a really good synergy there. And then Trample with Enhanced Trample, and then Natural Trample to grant base Fortify. This might seem really weird, but we're going to put points into Crushing Earth, Safeguard, and Stone Guard. So when we have a certain level of Fortify, our Earth skills will do more damage. When we have critical strikes, we're going to fortify our life. And then Earth skills will deal more damage against slowed, stunned, and immobilized monsters. Now you're probably going to say, okay, Dobrunsky, why are you juicing up Earth skills when you have Pulverize and Trample? Well, that's going to make sense when we go over the legendary aspects. But once you get down to your ultimates, D-Spec Blood Howl, and then put a point into Petrify, Prime Petrify, and Supreme Petrify. So killing an enemy that's petrified is going to grant Spirit. That helps with the Spirit generation issues of the Druid. Petrify's effect duration is increased. Stun monsters, you're going to deal increased critical strike damage. So that's some good synergy. And then pair that with Ursine Strength. This is just a good, like, it's a good go-to, increasing your damage and additional max life. And then Defensive Posture, and then Nature's Resolve. A lot of this is going to make sense when you look at legendary aspects. In particular, this one right here. So Pulverize converts to an Earth skill. And I should mention, all of these legendary aspects, so Quicksand, Ballistic, Retaliation, Mending Stone, Ghostwalker, Aspect of Ursine Horror, Aspect of the Expectant, and Crashstone aspect, these can all be farmed from dungeons. Now we specifically have like the helmet, chest armor, gloves, pants, boots, ring, and amulets, because like having a weapon or offhand weapon as you play through the campaign, you're going to consistently switch out your weapon as you get like a more powerful version. So I don't think it's worth your while to imprint a weapon on a playthrough. And since this is like a playthrough oriented build, I'm just leaving these open. But some of those skills I was talking about, increasing our earth damage if enemies are slowed, immobilized, or stunned. We're immobilizing with Poison Creeper. We're stunning with Raging Pulverize. And we're immobilizing with Pulverize, or excuse me, we're immobilizing with Petrify. So we're dealing increased damage, Earth skill damage, but then we don't have an Earth skill. What we do when we use this legendary aspect, Pulverize is now an Earth skill. And then attacking enemies like, I'm not going to cover, you guys can like pause the video. So there's Crash Stone, Earth Skills deal more critical strike damage to controlled enemies, Aspect of the Expectant, Ghostwalker Aspect, Aspect of Mending Stone, Retaliation, Ballistic Aspect, and Aspect of Quicksand. But the whole idea is we're converting our Pulverize damage to Earth damage, and then we're just boosting Earth from Bulwark and everything else. And then for the Spirit Boons, I have Awareness for 10% reduced damage from elites, Avian Wraith for increased critical strike damage, Fortify to fortify maximum life when using a defensive skill. So we're going to be constantly using Earth from Bulwark, so that's going to add more Fortify, which is going to synergize with these skills here. Stone Guard, when you have Fortify, you're going to increase your damage. So you should always constantly be fortified because we're getting fortified from Natural Trample, Fortify from Earth from Bulwark, and then we're getting Fortify, increase Fortify from Bolster. And then we're going to pair that with Macho Cystic and Calm Before the Storm. So this should reduce the cooldown of Petrify, and then Macho Cystic, excuse me, will help with healing the Werebear. So that is the leveling version of this build. Everything can be farmed from a dungeon. I left the weapon and offhand weapon because you're going to replace these frequently through a playthrough. But as long as you salvage your gear that you collect through your playthrough equally between the vendor and the blacksmith, you should have enough crafting material and gold to imprint these aspects from the dungeons. Not like every 5 minutes, but you should be okay through a playthrough, like imprinting these different legendary aspects. So now shifting to the endgame version of this build, it's largely similar. So we still have points into Pulverize. We're still using Predatory Instinct, Heart of the Wild, and Abundance. We're still using Storm Strike as our generator, but then we're shifting to Landslide. So we want Primal Landslide. So when you immobilize or stun an enemy, you get a Terror emote, which is guaranteed critical strike, and it's going to increase the critical strike damage. Now you might be wondering, well, why are you using Landslide? Like, why does that make sense? Well, there is a legendary aspect called Aspect of the Trampled Earth. Now you have to drop this. You can't get it from a dungeon, but it's going to proc landslide pillars when you trample. So here's a quick video from Riker's interview, which will showcase when you pulverize. So this is going to showcase the one aspect when you use Pulverize converts to earth damage, but it's also going to showcase there. So that's the trample proccing landslide. So that's why we invested points into Landslide. Everything else is relatively the same. Still using Trample. We're still boosting with Crushing Earth, Safeguard, and Stone Guard. We're still using Envenom to pair with Poison Creeper. And we're still using Petrify. Now you can go back and forth between Earthwind Might or Earthsign Strength. Either one will work. But again, it's similar to the leveling build. It's just the only real difference is we're using Aspect of Trampled Earth, which you need to drop, and then also the Shockwave aspect. This combination of these two, converting everything to earth damage, is going to make for a very, very powerful Werebear setup. Now you can use Obsidian Slam or Calm Before the Storm. I think Masochistic, I pronounced that wrong twice for sure. That'll be a better combo with a Bolster, so Fortify, more of your maximum life. Again, we're getting Fortify from Earthwind Bulwark. We're getting Fortify from our Trample node. It's just a good combination. If we have a certain amount of fortitude, our Earth skills do more damage, and then we're converting Pulverize and Trample to proc Earth skill damage. So that's kind of the synergy that this build is going for. Again, guys, let me know in the comment section below if you guys agree, disagree, or if you would tweak anything. That's kind of like a basic overview. I'll have both of these build links linked in the description below, so you guys can like take your time to like go over every aspect, and you kind of see like where you farm them from which dungeon and like what it actually grants you, rather than making like a 30-minute long video. This is going to be my leveling build and my endgame build for the launch of Diablo 4. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Again, let me know in the comment section below if you guys agree, disagree, or you would tweak anything. Any feedback is welcome, as long as you're not a dick. Besides that, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys on my next video or live stream. Peace.
Cause we already lied. I took you to the